I have no idea if the microphone's working, but
Get closer to the mic.
Closer.
Get closer to the mic.
Yeah, I know, but I have no idea if these things want to work, and I don't
They do.
feel like messing with the audio, so I'm going to use what my theater teacher taught me, and what is it called? Projection. So hopefully y'all can hear me, all right?
Yeah.
So this is a panel. It's about internet music, which is probably something not really talked about before, but it's my favorite thing, and I love doing it. I love listening to it. Although I would like to mention that the artists we're about to talk about, one of them does some really dark stuff, the other has said some really dark stuff, so I apologize, but we're here to focus on the art, not the artist. Alright, so we're going to start with the guy who kind of started this whole thing on YouTube, where you basically take a bunch of samples from, like an audio sample from a movie, and you stitch it together until it sounds like a song. So, what is sampling music? As I just explained, it's basically just music that is created using any kind of audio sample. Personally, I like to use music from videos I've filmed of my friends, just us talking, and then put it with a bunch of samples from other songs, and there you go. Some other people will take audio clips of people talking from a movie like Alice in Wonderland and put it together until it sounds like music. So the first guy who kind of did this was on YouTube in 2007. His name is Pogo. His real name is Christopher Burke. He's a 34-year-old musician living in Australia, and he's been making music since the 1990s, but the work he's known for is actually kind of started in 2007 with this song called Alice, which we've just been testing. So here's Alice. Let's see if you can. So, you can't really have a trend without a bunch of other people following it. So, I found a couple of songs that were made throughout the years of 2008 to 2012 that were obviously inspired by Pogo's work. So here's a couple of the best remixes I found, given it's only about 30 seconds, but if you scan the barcode, or the QR code, you can listen to the whole song. This first one is made by an artist who's literally just called NP. I guess no problem with that. We got this remix.
Right. What a peculiar place to have a party.
Different vibe, different artist, you get it. One thing I'd like to mention about this song is actually all of that was made using soundtrack pieces from the movie, except for those little chimes you can hear. He says it in the description. This is another one from an artist called, I'm going to assume that's just Julo, I'm not sure. This is called My World, released in the summer of 2012.
When I know in a world of
So Pogo's made a whole bunch of other stuff, as you can see. He's remixed Mrs. Doubtfire, Peter Pan, Mary Poppins. He's done it all. And so after making Alice, Pogo continued to make his new tracks in his iconic style. He's made way too many of them to count or show them all here, but here are a few I really want to show you. Some of his other famous works include Forget. If you've been on TikTok in January when I made this presentation, you'll probably recognize it. Bloom, Reach, Wishery, and Data and Picard. I highly recommend checking out his other work. So this is Forget, and you probably heard this thing on TikTok.
It's just it's just when I won't let bury I feel your funny talk about them waking up talk about into my crystal. It's just when I won't let bury I feel your funny talk about them waking up talk about into my crystal.
As you can see, that included a whole bunch of things. A little bit of Stranger Things Season 1. There's a lot of Disney movies in there. There's also James and the Giant Peach. And a whole bunch of things. He just sort of combines it all together. Here's one that's one of my favorites and my dad's favorite personally. This is Data and Picard from 2016. And yes, this is actually Pogo cosplaying the characters. Yeah, no song about that show or that generation is complete without Picard's terrible poetry, isn't it? And also, yes, that Data cosplay is very uncanny, I'm afraid. So this is Reach, came out in 2019. It's one of my personal favorites, and I figured it'd be great to play here, because it has a whole bunch of things, including Stranger Things and Howl's Moving Castle. You'll love it.
Do you realize what you've said?
I should do. It's pounded in my brain often enough, asleep and awake, in the drowsy fantasy moment of every lonely dawn. Oh, come on. What's your answer?
You've taken my breath away.
What's your answer?
If I tell my mom and she tells your mom, would you say no? If I tell my mom and she tells your mom, Lucas, do you copy? Lucas, do you copy? Fine.
So, with that kind of style of music getting popular, the community started to grow, especially around 2016 when you had artists like Melody Sheep and I hate saying her name, but I'm just gonna say it because that's the name, Sewer Slut. So with that becoming a big success, there are a lot of artists out there who have decided to use this style and create their own music. I'm just gonna highlight two of them because, well, these are the two I listen to. But here's Melody Sheep. Melody Sheep, real name John D. Boswell. is a musician and filmmaker from in Washington State, which we are visiting from, even though we lived here. He's done a lot of different pieces of work. My personal favorite is Oh My, but he's also done Chili Wonka and The Good of One. Nowadays, John is actually making thrilling space and astronomy videos with incredible visuals and outstanding soundtracks. If you haven't seen his video, The Time-Lapse of the Future, already, I highly recommend it. Although I think the algorithm probably pushed it to you at some point. So here's Oh My, it's by Melody Sheep, came out in 2017.
You're going to see a wizard? Won't you take me with you?
Why, of course I will.
Hooray! We're off to see a wizard!
Oh my! Come on! Close your eyes. Tap your heels together. Follow the yellow brick road. We're on our way to see the wizard. To get him hard. Way to see the wizard.
When I was editing the video for this, because I had to edit all the clips together, I couldn't help but look at the flower scene and just think asbestos. Just, that was asbestos. The magic powder that woke him up, oh boy. So, before we continue, and this is the part where, I don't mind if you walk out, this is just definitely some darker stuff. The content we're about to talk about does have very disturbing visuals, themes, audio samples, but it's how you describe mental health. It's a art portrayal of such, but it does contain themes of suicide, alcoholism, depression, and death. So viewer discretion is advised. So Sewer Slut, June, not much is known about her. She's kind of kept her life secret. She started making music in 2017, although that era of her music has been basically lost media entirely. June is very well known for her breakcore style music. Not really breakcore, and I purposely avoided calling any of this breakcore because that's not what it is. But it features samples from all over pop culture. According to an individual allegedly close to June, she's currently living in Australia. Hey, it seems like there's a lot of Australian sampling artists, I don't know why, given their copyright system. But she's kind of living on her own over there, and she's been making music based from her last album that she ever released called We Had Good Times Together, don't forget that. So I'm going to show you a couple samples, and then I'm going to show you a video I made that just kind of goes into detail of all of the samples she's used, or at least a couple of examples of them. So this, the full title I cannot say, but I'm sure you can guess based off of that abbreviation. It's interesting why it's talking about. That she really likes the almond break, and if you don't know what that is, look it up because I don't have time to explain that. So this is called New Love. It's definitely one of my favorites. Here we go. There was a joke that we forgot. that on the airplane ride here to block out that baby crying in the back. Because when you listen to it with headphones on, which I highly recommend for all of these, it just blocks the world out. It's great. So that's called Oni. It is definitely, it's gonna break these speakers, I'm afraid, but a very, very interesting piece. I don't know what that picture is or what it means, but it's there, so. I know it's from an anime, I don't know which one. I'm very uneducated in anime. So here's this video I made. It's basically gonna show you a couple of the samples that she uses. And when I said it comes from all over pop culture, I mean it comes from all over the place. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find which one is which, because it's just so different every time.
If I go to work today, I'm gonna kill somebody.
I see. Well, at least you put in that paperweight order.
It won't be enough. They never get enough. Always so much more paper than there are weights. You know how much paperwork I have? It never stops. I don't know how it happens. You start out in life as a little baby.
No paperwork.
Exactly, no paperwork. But do we appreciate it, all those little babies? No. We cry, 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 cry.
Well, I guess when you have a family, that's the sacrifice you make.
Sacrifice, exactly. I sacrificed. The ultimate sacrifice. My happiness. For my kids. You bet I did. You bet I did.
That's my school counselor's favorite show.
For å ramse opp de forskjellige mulige dødsårsakene, jeg må bare se på lista mi her. Forgiftning, blodtap, brannskader, hjernetraume på grunn av pistolskudd, nakkebrudd på grunn av henging, hodeskader på grunn av fall, kveling på grunn av henging, sprengningsskade, forfrysning eller drukning. 10 forskjellige måter å dø på en og samme gang.
you make the ending credits of an anime sound like a panic attack, I'm not sure. Got any Silent Hill fans out here? She sampled the worst Gorillaz So now my music. That probably looks really wild because I'm wearing black lipstick and that's me, I swear. So my music, kind of like June, a lot of it is supposed to sound like a panic attack. I have a lot of trouble explaining my own mental health and my own, like what my head feels like. So I do it through music, which unfortunately makes a lot of my music very unpleasant to listen to. So hopefully these are okay, but I do experience post-traumatic stress disorder, and being able to portray that in a way that my therapist can kind of understand has been great. But maybe it's entertaining to others, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna show off some of my music here. So one thing I'd like to mention about this first song, and you're going to see it in the visual examples, because in this video I break down all of the song samples. This song is about somebody that I met at this very convention last year. I'm not gonna say his name, but me and my friends got together in a Team Fortress 2 cosplay meetup, and can I curse? My dumbass fell in love with this boy, and it ended horribly. So what did I do? I made a song about it. Great! So the title came from literally the last thing he said to me. So here we go. Just enjoy this. My music is also very slow. I apologize.
slowed down music, but that's how my brain is. I swear, that's what my brain sounds like sometimes. Even though I have ADHD, so that doesn't quite make sense. So, okay, I think I have time to show this and one more. So this is called Make New Memories. I worked on this, so I made that other song August 2nd of 2022. This song I released sometime in October of 2022, and the reason why it took so long, because this is a counterpart to that first one, is because, well, I had to make new memories. So this is basically a song about me sort of recovering from that incident, and honestly, I'm very proud of it. And I hope y'all enjoy this one. It very much starts the same. Haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful film. And the reason why it's on there is because, as you saw, I put in stuff from Salt Lake City Comic Con. And on the way there, my mom and I were watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it was just such an interesting film to watch without sound, because we're on an airplane, and it's Southwest. But then we went home and we watched it, and the ending just hit us right in the feels. So that film is an important film to me. Same with Running Up That Hill. One of the first things I did after me and that person, the other song was about, after we parted ways, the first thing I did is I went to a local roller rink, and one of the songs that they played was Running Up That Hill, because Stranger Things just brought that back into popularity at the time. And that song is also very important to me now, so I just kind of put it in there as sort of part of that transition period from one thing to another. So I'm gonna let you guys decide which one you want to hear. I have headache, and then I have another one that's called reverting. Well, given that I have 30 minutes left. 20. 20? 20? Okay. I suppose I'll just play headache, because that's fast. Reverting, you can check that out later, I suppose. Can you tell this is my first panel?
It's eternity in
So I apologize if that gave you a headache. It's supposed to sound like one. I didn't mean to give anyone a headache. So this was made in, I believe, January, something along those lines. No, it says February. Okay, so February. I had been struggling with my mental health for a bit there. So every day felt like a headache. So I was like, how the hell do I portray that? Well, I just kind of threw up this after 2 days of work. And one of the things that I'd like to point out here is there's Emesis Blue clips in there. That's what I'm cosplaying, is Scout from Emesis Blue. Fortress Films, cool. So I made this after we moved to Washington, and since moving to Washington, there's this hockey team, Seattle Thunderbirds, super cool. So that's why that's in there. And it's also because for some reason, at the start of every game, they decide to have this countdown with the final hour soundtrack, or something that sounds like it from Legend of Zelda, whichever the one the moon is collapsing into the earth. I forgot which one. Majora's Mask. Okay, thank you. I'm very uneducated. And then I'm just the back rooms and more stuff from Salt Lake City. And then Data Picard, because I thought it'd be funny if there was a moment where you thought everything was fine and then it wasn't. So there's that. Mariana Cross is in there because I really love that song. Yeah. And as you can see, I make everything in literally just iMovie. All I'm using is iMovie and just the detached audio option. So I'm not using any like fancy techniques or any really big deal software. Which is where I'm here to tell you that if you want to make your own music, you absolutely can. You can literally throw together whatever and you can make a song. This is reverting, but we're not gonna listen to it. Unless you want to. I'll explain So I just sort of realized that that's a great way to wrap things up. I'm terrible at timing sometimes, I apologize. This is, well, me just sort of reverting back. So I kind of went down the timeline from 2023 to the way I was in 2020. And I really liked Moon Valley in 2020, so I put that at the end. And then I had stuff from 2021. Yeah, it's just sort of a recap of everything, because I felt like I was reverting in my, behavior and all that. So everything you just saw in a nutshell, the obligatory slide. So how does this relate to cosplaying? 'Cause that's the deal I made. Basically, if you want to use this type of music to, incorporate it into your cosplay videos, find a song that uses audio clips of the character you're cosplaying, And this is the part where I was supposed to put something that had Scout, but I blanked on that. Thanks, ADHD. So yeah, thank you. You guys have questions? I don't have time left. But if you have questions, feel free to ask.
You got 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
Go
you-
ahead.
Hello. Okay, so I'm curious because my creative process always a little different from yours. But when I am going through and I'm finding samples for a track, usually for me, the reason I'm looking for them is one, meaning, and two, how it sounds in the musical context.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, for you, it seems to be more emotion first and then musical context last. Do you have any insight as to like what it looks like when you're going through and finding samples that are meaningful to you?
Well, I kind of try to settle on a general idea for what I want the song to be about. Hence why I keep telling the backstories behind everything. So when I come up with a general idea, I kind of come up with what vocal samples or auditory samples I want to use, and then I go through my list of various, non-lyrical soundtracks that I have, and I just kind of figure out what is the vibe I'm trying to go for with this. And I don't really follow the traditional method of music where you have a set pattern or anything, because I'm weird like that, I guess. But yeah, when I'm going through and I'm thinking of what I want to use in a song, it's definitely meaning first, emotion first, and then musical pattern and sense next. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks so much.
I was wondering, like, if there's any kind of, I guess, etiquette in the community. So, like, for example, is it more like, I guess, is it less frowned upon, like, to pull samples that are like already in the key that you want to use, like a different sample, or is like pitch shifting like the go-to, or like if you have like an external drum library, is that like, well, that's not as good because you could have just like taken this sample and used that as a snare or a kick or something?
With the sampling community, it seems like anything goes. I know that not everybody's going to slow down or change the pitch. I do that because my brain sort of slows everything down, so I try to make it sound like that. As you saw with like Pogo and Sewer Slut, with Pogo he just didn't really change the pitch very much. He just sort of cut it to not even the full word, just sort of the syllable. With Sewer Slut, she sort of changes all of it, the pitch, the speed, all of that. So I don't think there's any kind of etiquette, but I do know that when you're making a sampling song, you definitely want to try and make something unique. Because sometimes there's just sort of too much of a pattern that people follow. And as I've seen and heard through TikTok, it seems like breakcore has sort of just taken this one pattern and just kind of used it over and over. Hopefully that answers your question.
Kind of two things, but first one, especially with like Disney, how do you know where the line is, like between like copyright and like fair use? You know what I'm saying?
The line is a dot. Like you're so past that line, it doesn't even matter at that point. With Pogo, he can't make any money off of any of his music because he uses Disney so much. So copyright is less of a concern. It's more of artistic value, I guess. So with copyright, you just sort of have to kind of fight your way through it and know that you're not going to make much money off of your music. That song, Reverting, yeah, I didn't know that Harry Styles' copyright is banned in Russia, so that song is now like buried in the algorithm because the song is banned in Russia.
Have you heard of Cosmo Sheldrake? He samples animal sounds. Same thing, but he primarily uses like natural sounds.
Okay, I will check.
Could you say that name louder?
Cosmo Sheldrake. He's English, I believe. I'm British.
Okay, so Cosmo and then
Sheldrake. A lot of his sounds actually are on TikTok.
Okay, yeah. I deleted my TikTok. My dad literally like cheered me on as we were deleting it because, yeah. But I'm sure he'd be on YouTube somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I will look that up later, see. Sounds interesting. Okay. So, what are y'all doing this evening? Oh, you
I'm
guys.
asking you another question.
Yeah.
Where do you think, kind of banking off their question, where do you think the line is drawn between originality and just copy and pasting music?
Like I was sort of rambling incoherently earlier, it seems like if you follow, like the almond break, everybody uses the almond break. That's the drum bit that's like super quick.
Yeah.
It's all over Sewer Slut music, and it's all over this whole breakcore genre in TikTok. If you use the almond break too much, especially in like this really set, I'm not sure how to describe it, but there just seems to be this like really set in stone almond break type of song. That's where it starts to cross into not very original. With sampling, there's such a wide variety of ways you can use something that it's kind of hard to come up with not original. But sometimes people will use the same thing over and over and over again, and it just gets a bit boring. But yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this very first panel. I want to say thank you to my mom right there. Does like 5 or 6 panels a con. So when I said, hey, I'm doing a panel, she was cheering me on the whole way. And I'm thankful for that. My dad helped me out with the, I hope those work, I haven't tested them out yet.
Yeah, that was coming out.
I keep saying QR, or I keep saying barcode or whatever, I don't know. What is it? QR code, okay. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So I'm glad this didn't go horribly wrong. I'm glad I got you guys to laugh. Improv is my specialty. So. All right, I have no idea what time it is.
Thank you.
All right.
I guess we just stay in here.